Shazazz Creations, your one-stop shop when it comes to customization. Totes, tees, tumblers, hats, and more. Looking for a customized gift idea for a graduation, birthday party, baby shower, or just a unique creation of your own? Check out Shazazz Creations as seen here on Whitney D TV. Female, Black owned. Use my promo in the description box down below and let her know Whitney D of Whitney D TV sent you. Thank you. Bye. Welcome to Embrace Pangaea. These products are all created to bring you back to balance through nature's gifts. They have a wide range of products that deal with various aspects of daily life, such as deodorants, juices, clothing, vagina detoxes, and body scrubs. Whichever product that you decide to embrace, you can rest assured that it was created with love for the betterment of self. Embrace your Pangaea. Visit the link in the description box below and let them know that Whitney D of Whitney D TV sent you. Bye. So check out the site embracepangea.com and embrace your Pangaea. You know what I'm saying?
Come on in, people. It's time for the plug. Y'all know I got a word. If you don't know, you're gonna find out in a few minutes. My name is Britannia, and I am the plug. I am the plug. My name is Britannia, and I am the plug. I am the plug.
Hey guys, hi Gems. Welcome. Guys, I am very excited, honey. The party is coming. Welcome.
We hustle, but the night we know that the ride or die.
Welcome. Welcome to the house of the princess.
I keep worried about my seat. Know that the ride or die.
I'm 50% righteous, 50% ratchet.
We hustle, but the night we worried about my seat. Know that the ride or die. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when
Thank
I
y'all
was
for
not
joining
around.
us.
Certain people that I know.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
You take the blue pill.
The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to.
You take the red pill.
You stay in Wonderland.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
All I'm offering is the truth.
The choice is yours.
Welcome to the gold mine.
I can't even count, but numerous of times at night I'm always was taken to this back room and then molested. So it's I can't even count.
But I wasn't okay.
And then it got to the point where he started to go a little further.
Get off my sister, and I was just like, yeah, because I didn't know, what was going on. So was your abuse by females, males, or
Male.
So I would say around 7.
because in that moment we had all had a common narrative. They had been molested too, and 2 out of those sisters by the same person that was doing it to me.
He said, well, I want to ask you, are you gay?
We survived because it figured out how to what to do if we blow a fuse, and the brain knows what to do if it believes it will destruct. It takes memories and it moves them offline so that we don't remember, so we don't have to deal with what the brain says is too much for us.
Drama every time you do something. No peace, nowhere. You're not looking at the spirit realm. In the natural, you look like a pretty cool brother. You're a pretty cool sister, but you can't get along with nobody. And every relationship, even the good Good ones that should have turned out into something good can't turn out good because you're not aware of the spirit realm.
What's up, Jewel Gang? So I would like to address this white woman who goes by the name of Nikki Marie on Facebook. Her page is private, but her DMs are wide open. You see, this scarecrow thought it'd be a good idea to slide in a black woman's DM, bully and harass her over having a small disability. Pause and read. Pause and read. Pause and read. You see, this beautiful black woman you decided to harass for having a small disability, when being compared to you, is walking art. Black women are literally walking Picassos, which is why snow roaches like you envy us so much. You look like the cashier at HEB that has to call the manager every 5 seconds because you're too stupid to work the register. You look like splattered bird shit dried up on the side of someone's car. You couldn't match her beauty if she gave you an audio booklet with a step-by-step description on how to do so. And between me and you, I'm the bigger bully. Sit your ass down.
You just wanna hold it, don't wanna swim it over. It feels like you got it, you want your roller coaster.
What up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to be a part of the Witness gang, to join the Witness Nation. Now let's get into this, shall we? Hello, you guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be.
I'm Whitney.
What up, everybody? Welcome. Yes, hey, you guys, everybody that's in the chat. This is a pre-recording. Gotcha. Nah, y'all should have known that already. But not for nothing, you guys. I wanted to come to you guys on this beautiful afternoon. By the time you guys get this, it's gonna be Wednesday afternoon. So I pray you guys are enjoying this beautiful hump day. And not for nothing, you guys, if you guys have been under a rock, it's a lot of stuff that's been going on in regards to the RKelly trial. My goodness. And we're going to talk about it. Okay. First and foremost, I want to give you guys an update in regards to the Kelly trial. And it's a channel that I always stay tuned for, and that's BNC News on YouTube. A small little channel. They got like 80,000 subscribers, whatever. But they are like on top of things. So we're gonna go to this clip. It's about 7 minutes, you guys. So hang in there, and then I'm going to come back with some commentary in regards to it. But I just want to keep you guys abreast as to what's going on. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Let's get it. All right.
Tonight, we're looking ahead to what's next in RKelly's racketeering and sex trafficking trial. In the 12 days of trial so far, jurors have heard emotional and graphic testimony from several women. 6, including the late singer Aaliyah, are named as official complaining witnesses. But several other women and one man took the stand and shared similar stories of surviving sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. Kelly is charged with 1 count of racketeering and 8 violations of an anti-sex trafficking law known as the Mann Act. That law prohibits transporting anyone across state lines for prostitution. Kelly has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. Here to discuss the happenings of this trial is veteran trial attorney and former public defender Masai Lord. He's also the founder of Lord Law Group in New York City, where he practices federal and state criminal defense law. Welcome to the show, Counselor. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first, give me your take on how the prosecution's case against Kelly is going so far.
I think it's going really well. We have a saying, you know, after having done state court and federal court, then in state court, they arrest you and then they investigate. In federal court, they investigate and then they arrest you. And what that really means is that when you go to do cases in federal court, you're going to be presented with an overwhelming amount of evidence most of the time. And federal prosecutors win about 90% of the jury trials. Here, there's no exception. What you're seeing is that ultimately the prosecutor is presenting a very compelling and dynamic case that shows that RKelly, over a span of 20 years, has been conducting an ongoing criminal enterprise that has involved the trafficking of young women, and ultimately we learned was the young men. That his music career has been part of this enterprise, this commercial enterprise, and that he's used his music career as a cover for these type of crimes that has been committed. So I think that the prosecutor is doing a compelling case, and it's going to be very difficult for the defense to overcome the incredible amount of evidence.
Now, we've heard from a number of accusers. Majority of them are women and Black. And you and I both know that Black victims, especially Black women, are given little credibility within our criminal legal system. So is this why this trial is so consequential?
I think it is. And it's very important that Black women and Black girls see that the state and that the government, that the justice system is taking their claim seriously. It's very important that they can see that when they go to and complain about sexual assault and rape, that the allegations are taken seriously, that they're investigated, and that people who commit these acts are held accountable. And what we're seeing right now in the R. Kelly trial is that the federal prosecutors are putting, there's been a little bit of a veil on the conduct of R. Kelly. There's been rumors and innuendo, and they're lifting that veil. And ultimately, what we're seeing is that this type of 20 years of sex trafficking and a criminal enterprise that he's been doing, and this hopefully will spark throughout the country prosecutors taking these type of claims more seriously. I just want to add briefly that we know federal courts are courts of limited jurisdiction, meaning that jurisdiction is the type of cases they can hear. So in federal court, you can hear violations of federal law, you can hear crimes that are committed across multiple states, or violations of interstate commerce. Most sex crimes are going to be prosecuted by local state courts, which is why it's so imperative that everyone understands what the local prosecutor is doing and hold them accountable when they hear these type of complaints, and make sure that the prosecutors follow to the fullest.
And now we're hearing from Kelly's inner circle, Masai. We've talked about the term criminal enterprise. You were getting into it just now. Can you break down how the prosecution is using these witnesses to shape that narrative and specifically address the elements of the charges?
Well, again, I mentioned earlier very briefly that this case is in federal court. And so it's not simply just a sex case in terms of sexual assault. What they're showing is that they're prosecuting them under the racketeering statute, which traditionally has been used for mob bosses and recently for Crips and Bloods and other type of gang members. And what they're saying is that what he was doing was that he was conducting a criminal enterprise in terms of over a span of 20 years, he was using his music career to recruit women. And as he recruited women, he put them across state lines to do criminal acts, and he sexually assaulted them. He kept them confined to his home. They had to follow certain rules and certain things under threat of punishment. That this scheme was enforced by not just him, but his entourage. And so everyday people have to understand that this is not simply like a straight sexual assault case, that they're talking about that he was doing this, that he was out there recruiting women, vulnerable young women, and he was a young man. I want to be fair because of what just came out. So he's recruiting young women, he's recruiting young men, and he, as part of this criminal enterprise where he's committing sexual assault, imprisoning them, and bringing them across state lines to commit crimes.
Now, words and emotions are powerful, right? But we see the physical evidence as substantial here as well. Tell us why that can go such a long way for the jury.
Well, I think, as a career defense attorney, you're going to get an instruction to the jury saying that you can't base your verdict based completely on sympathy. And I think emotion is very powerful. But at the end of the day, prosecutors have to have evidence to support their charge. And so the physical evidence is that corroboration that shows that there was actually an ongoing criminal enterprise, and that the stories of these victims needs to be taken seriously, and that has been verified. I mean, unfortunately, we shouldn't necessarily need that, but just to be fair, because the jurors are going to get this instruction that they can't just look at sympathy and emotion. That means that they have to be able to point to evidence that they've been presented to, physical evidence, and say this corroborates the story, this shows this was not consensual, and this shows this was an ongoing criminal enterprise.
All right, well, court is in recess until Thursday, and that's when testimony will resume. So we're definitely going to be keeping a close eye on this trial as usual. Veteran trial attorney Masai Lord, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, you guys were able to hear their little update in regards to the R. Kelly trial, as you guys hear. And if you were listening to the transcripts, you guys are aware that they're taking like a break, a holiday break. They'll be back in continuations of the trial on Thursday. So not for nothing, that is a little snippet of a update and letting you know where prosecution stands and defense and things to that nature and what is going on. That's why I find it very perplexing when people are like, they losing. They're actually proving every bit of their case. And as I'm reading the transcripts, I'm like, people aren't really talking about this. Oh my God, they said that. And it's just like, no, they prefer to act as if, they prefer to be oblivious to the fact of the matter that prosecution came with it, and it's really just very intricate details that they are executing right now. And they haven't even got into the full explicit details of the evidence, but you guys have slowly heard that they have actually tapped into those devices. They already are, getting into those devices. We are behind with transcript readings. However, that's why I try to give you guys an update, and then I get into the transcripts just so we can have a good balance, okay? So not for nothing, we're going to get into some more transcript reading hereafter. However, it's not going to be extended. I will follow up with an extended version of the transcripts this evening. Same bat place, same bat time. Probably actually more so like around 7:30 this evening, because gotta let hubby get off and all that to that nature or what have you. And I want you guys to be able to get relaxed and relate. Grab you guys a glass of wine or whatever your beverage of choice. Sit back and listen to the transcripts. Okay, so I will come back to you guys this evening to continue from where I left off here. Okay, and you guys can stay tuned. And as I told you guys, I am going to. Well, I've already created the playlist for you guys to catch up. Okay, so before we get into the transcripts, I wanted to bring you guys to further information that just broke about YouTuber Tasha K. Okay, I'm a little late to this because I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's pertaining to the RKelly trial, and I just wanted to tickle you guys' fancy in regards to that. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and we're going to read this article. It's rather lengthy, so bear with me, you guys. Okay, in regards to it. All right, but this particular this particular article is from the Chicago Tribune, and we are actually going to listen to the article, okay? So let's go ahead and get into this.
This school year,
I
want my child to thrive. So I enrolled her at the Goddard School. Their amazing teachers truly care about building up my child's confidence. So she's ready to take on the world. And knowing she's learning in a warm and nurturing community gives me peace of mind.
Welcome to the Goddard family. Visit GoddardSchool.com to find a school near you and enroll now.
Sorry, y'all. I didn't want to play the ad. Here we go.
Ex-prisons officer suspected of leaking RKelly's jail communications to blogger, federal records show. Randy B. superstar RKelly had been locked up at Chicago's federal jail for 4 months when a popular YouTube personality touted an inside scoop on the singer's tumultuous relationship with 2 girlfriends still living in his high-rise apartment. Apparently wanting to keep the women in his camp, Kelly allegedly had a friend bring $1,500 in cash to the Trump Tower residence to help pay their bills, blogger Tasha K. said in an exclusive video posted to her YouTube channel in November 2019. One of them, Jocelyn Savage, was angry she'd been kept off Kelly's visitors list, according to Tasha K. The other, Osriel Clary, had left the apartment and not come back, throwing Kelly into a tizzy, she said. How did Tasha K. know all this? Well, she wasn't telling. Yeah, there's a phone tap somewhere and I'm not gonna tell you where it's at, Tasha K. told her viewers during the 39-minute video, which has so far collected more than 328,000 views. I have the plug. I'm not gonna tell you where I got the information from, but just listen to the damn information, okay? Now, it appears federal investigators allegedly know exactly how Tasha K. was plugged in. A federal search warrant recently unsealed in Chicago shows that agents seized a laptop from a U.S. Bureau of Prisons officer who was suspected of illegally accessing Kelly's recorded phone calls, emails, visitor logs, and other restricted information during his stay at the Metropolitan Correctional Center on West Van Buren Street. The female officer, who at the time worked as a disciplinary hearing officer at a federal prison in Wisconsin, accessed Kelly's records more than 150 times in a 6-month period in 2019, even though the officer was not assigned to the MCC and had no official reason to be looking them up, according to the 24-page document obtained by the Tribune. The officer, identified only as Officer A, also emailed herself a 12-page scan of Kelly's jail records, according to an affidavit from an investigator with the U.S. Justice Department's Inspector General's office. The officer retired in December 2019, according to the affidavit. She has not been charged. The unsealing of the search warrant comes in the middle of Kelly's racketeering trial in New York on charges alleging he was the head of a criminal enterprise that for decades recruited girls and young women and held them against their will to satisfy Kelly's illegal sexual appetites. Kelly is identified in the warrant only as inmate A, though he's described as a nationally recognized celebrity whose criminal case has received media attention. Sources confirmed the investigation and videos referenced in the federal document line up with Kelly-related videos posted on YouTube. In an emailed statement Tuesday, a BOP spokesman wrote the Bureau could not comment on issues pending investigation for privacy, safety, and security reasons. The documents offer a glimpse into the unbridled cottage industry that has sprung up on social media since the allegations against Kelly exploded in 2019 with the Lifetime docuseries surviving RKelly, which eventually led to federal indictments in Brooklyn and Chicago, as well as similar charges in Cook County. Since then, Kelly supporters and detractors have devoted countless hours on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram parsing every last detail of the singer's life and the charges against him. When a South suburban woman posted Kelly's $100,000 bail in the Cook County case in February 2019, she instantly became a hot topic of conversation, with some bloggers on social media calling for a boycott of the restaurant she owns, while others wrongly identified her as the operator of a South Side daycare. As the trial has been unfolding in New York, one blogger, who posts under the name Infamous Sylvia, has even been using actors to read aloud from the trial transcripts, creating what she bills as role reenactment. But perhaps none of the gossip mongers has been as successful as Tasha K, whose celebrity news dispatches on the YouTube channel Unwind with Tasha regularly garner hundreds of thousands of views and, presumably, significant advertising dollars. The 39-year-old Atlanta-based blogger, whose real name is Latasha Keba, often touts her videos as offering exclusive information and insight into Kelly's world, with interviews of key players as well as updates on the allegations, including many that go far beyond even the most salacious details offered in court. According to the warrant, the warden of Chicago's MCC first reported to BOP Internal Affairs on November 22, 2019, that Tasha K had revealed sensitive law enforcement information regarding the celebrity identified as Kelly, including information that would have been known to BOP employees who had monitored inmate A's telephone calls or accessed the recordings of those calls. The warrant mentions 3 specific videos posted by Tasha K that are all still publicly viewable on YouTube. Among them was a November 8, 2019, video titled Exclusive. Noir, Kelly Enablers Revealed, where she appears to scroll through her cell phone while reading a summary of a recent call between Kelly and Savage that was recorded on the jail's system. I got some explosive information, Tasha K says after taking a sip of white wine from a large goblet. So Rob called Jocelyn and she was crying hysterically. She said Osriel was leaving the Trump Tower and she was not coming back. Now I told you I got a expletive plug, so this is all facts. Another video posted on December 22nd, 2019 was titled "RKelly released emails proves he can't read or write," according to the affidavit. The 16-minute video, which had more than 512,000 views as of Tuesday, features Tasha K. reading verbatim from emails Kelly purportedly sent from jail to Savage a month earlier, including details of how he misspelled the word high as high. I'm not gonna put it up here because this is considered somebody's private information or whatever, she says, using air quotes as she looks down at her phone. But you know, my word? Trust me. Quebec could not immediately be reached for comment Tuesday. A review of Officer A's logins to the Bureau of Prisons' internal information system, meanwhile, showed that the officer had improperly accessed Kelly's records 153 times between July 15, 2019, when Kelly first arrived at the MCC, and December 12, 2019, shortly before her retirement, according to the warrant. During that time, the officer also accessed and printed out Kelly's visitor logs and payments made into and out of his commissary account, which included the names of people sending money to Kelly while he was in jail, according to the warrant. On November 13, 2019, the officer sent herself a 12-page scan of Kelly's jail records from her official BOP email account to a Gmail address registered to her, according to the warrant. Among the information in that scan was a log of Kelly's emails, including some later divulged by Tasha K. in her video blog. The warrant sought permission to search Officer A's desktop computer for any evidence of a crime, including any internet searches of RKelly as well as financial transactions or discussion of payments with Tasha K. Meisner at ChicagoTribune.com.
Whew, all right, you guys. You guys got an opportunity to hear all of that, okay? So, my. Okay, I don't know what this means exactly for the likes of Tasha K, so I'm not even going to get into it. However, if proven guilty, like this is a federal situation, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, you guys. I will keep you guys abreast, afloat, if you will, in regards to everything that's going on, okay? But not for nothing, guys. We're going to go ahead and get into these transcripts. That's what you guys are here for, okay? But I, again, wanted to keep you guys abreast as to current updates that are going on in the building, okay? So let's go ahead and get into these transcripts. If I'm not mistaken, I left off at 1645 or whatnot. My system turned off in the midst of everything going on. So let me go ahead and get to where we are. Okay, while I am figuring out, not necessarily figuring out, while I'm getting to where we are in the page numbers, let me go ahead and divulge all this information so you guys are aware of those, especially those that are new, okay? Welcome to the channel. Make sure that you always come in placing your city in the chat, even though I may know where you're from already. Put that in there so I can shout you guys out, okay? Number one rule, keep it cute or you will get the boot, okay? Meaning you don't have to agree with me, but I ask that you respect my platform. And if you have a disagreement, just articulate yourself, say it with your chest, okay? But make sure you do it respectfully so you won't get the boot. Please, please, please do not spam my chat with your free RKellys. I guarantee you he is not watching my channel, okay? I think he's more so focused on the trial, as you should be, okay? Not for nothing, make sure that you like this video if you have not already. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you would like to do so. And lastly, sharing is caring. Make sure you share this video so more people can view it, okay? Now, if you would like to support my channel by sending in a love offering, or you want to send in money for transcripts, please make sure that you indicate that by sending in a Cash App. I do adore your super chats. However, 30% goes to YouTube, and therefore I don't get the maximization of your love offering. Okay, so make sure you send that to my Cash App, and I guarantee you it goes back into my channel. Okay, all right, you guys, let's go ahead and get into the gust of everything, and you'll see my Cash App down below, as well as the transcript that we're reading. I'm going to update that for you guys now. Okay, so 16. Let me just get back to what just okay. I'm like, what just happened here? Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay, let me get to our page here. Sorry, y'all, bear with me. Okay, all right. Almost there, you guys. There we go. All right. Okay, there we go. Let me just make sure this is where we're at. Let me scan through, because y'all had to stop abruptly. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, we left off at 1645. However, we're going to start on page 1646. Okay, so we start at 1646. I'm not going to necessarily put in where we are leaving off at just yet, because I don't know where I'm going to stop. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it scrolling down at the bottom to be continued. So yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And I'm not going to take up you guys' time today. I'm going to take up all your time tonight. Okay. All right. Boom. Okay. You guys see that? Good. Okay. Let me go ahead and zoom it in. There we go. Okay. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Okay. Great. All right. Okay, let's go into this, okay? It was on in front of me. I'm sorry. Could you just repeat that? It was in front of me. And was the defendant still holding the video camera? No, he had placed it down on the table. And at that point, were you completely naked? Yes. And was the video camera facing you? Yes. And was it recording? Yes, it was. And where was the defendant at that time? He was behind me. And what was he doing behind you? Penetrating me. Vaginally? Yes. What, if anything, happened next? He said that he wanted to get a dildo and wanted me to put it in my mouth as he had sex with me. And so he went and got it, and I did as he asked. And when you say got it, are you referring to a dildo? Yes. And after he got the dildo, what did he do with it? He put it in my mouth and then continued having sex with me. From behind? Yes. And where was the video camera at that point? It was right in front of me. And was it still recording? Yes, it was. And you testified this was a VHS video camera? Yes. While the camera was recording you, was it facing you in your private areas? Yes, it was. Do you recall anything else about the house you were in that day? I only remember that it was a very wide open house and that there was a huge fish tank in the same room with me. And that was it. Other than the room where the filming happened, did you go anywhere else in the house that day? No. Now, you mentioned that you had met two rappers affiliated with the defendant named Boo and Gotti. Is that right? Yes. And did you meet them during your time with the defendant? Yes. Now, in what context did you meet them, if you recall? I just met them because they were around a lot too. Did there come a time where you had a meal at a restaurant with the defendant, Boo and Gotti? Yes. And where did that take place? At Houston's in Chicago. Is Houston's the name of a restaurant? Yes. And during that meal, were you permitted to speak to Boo and Gotti? No. Why not? I wasn't meant to speak to any other man besides Mr. Kelly. According to who? Mr. Kelly. Did you hear the defendant speak to Boo and Gotti during the meal? I did. And do you recall anything the defendant said to them during that meal? He mentioned that he likes young girls and that people make such a big deal of it, but it really isn't a big deal because even look at Jerry Lee Lewis. He's a genius and I'm a genius and we should be allowed to do whatever we want because of what we give to this world. Mr. Koenig, objection. The judge, I'm sorry, did you object? Mr. Koenig, yes, Your Honor. The judge, overruled. And did you know who the defendant was referring to when he said Jerry Lee Lewis? Yes, I did. Who was that? An old singer who married a 12-year-old, I think, or something like that. How did the topic come up during the meal? That was the strangest part, was that there was nothing that the other guy said to lead to that. It just kind of came out of the blue. Unless there was something said that I didn't hear, it just came out of the blue. After the meal at Houston's restaurant in Chicago that day, what, if anything, did the defendant ask you to do? He asked me if I knew who Sharon Stone is, and I said yes. And he asked me if I knew how she dressed. I said yes. And he said that he had $300, and if he gave that to me, could I go buy clothes in order to dress like her? And I said that I could. So he took me over to the water tower and let me shop for a time. And what is the water tower? It is a tall building in Chicago, downtown Chicago, that has a lot of different shops inside, like Nordstrom or Marshall Fields. And you mentioned Sharon Stone. Who is that? She's an actress. Now, you said you testified the defendant. Did the defendant take you to the water tower? Yes. And what, if anything, did you do after the defendant took you there? So he dropped me off and let me go inside and shop for myself. And I did. And I got the clothes and I wore them. I left the stores in the clothes. And he wasn't there yet. So I decided that I would sneak and have a cigarette. He didn't know that I smoked cigarettes. So I decided I'd have a cigarette while I waited for him. And he arrived without me noticing, and he became very angry when he saw me with the cigarette. He came out of the car and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Mr. Kennedy. Objection, Your Honor. The judge. Overruled. You can continue. Don't ever fucking smoke that shit. What's wrong with you? Don't you ever do that shit, especially not in front of me. He was yelling at the top of his lungs. He was standing right over me, and I was very surprised that he was just yelling so freely out in the public like that. How did that make you feel? Terrified. During your time with the defendant, did you ever see him play basketball? Yes. And where would you see him play basketball? There was one time where we went to a gym near downtown Chicago, just outside of downtown Chicago. And what, if any, instructions did the defendant give you regarding basketball games? So we went. When we went inside, he showed me where to sit and told me, sit there, don't move. And so I did. I watched him play, and then he came and collected me when it was time to leave. And what happened next? We got into a SUV with two people in the front driving the car and a person in the passenger seat. And then he and I were sitting directly behind the front seats, and he asked me to perform oral sex on him, and so I did. And what, if anything, happened while you were doing that? So that was really disgusting because he had just played basketball for an hour. And so I was really ashamed while I was doing it. So I was trying, to do it quietly and get it done. And he stopped me and said that I need to make noises while I was performing oral sex on him, because obviously he wanted the people in the car to know. And even the person in the passenger seat looked back and saw me doing that. You said you were ashamed. Why were you ashamed? Because it's disgusting and it's something that should be done in private. Did you want to be doing that in public? No. Did there come a time when you traveled to Florida to see the defendant? Yes. Around when was that? It was around my birthday, which is October 16th. It would have been a little bit before or a little bit after. I'm not sure. And where in Florida did you travel to? Orlando. And how did that trip come about? So Mr. Kelly asked me to to meet him. Mr. Kelly asked me to meet him there. And so an employee of his arranged for me to go there. And he said I could bring my friend Catherine. And so I did. And you said this was close in time to your birthday, either a little bit before or a little bit after. You can't remember which. Is that right? That's correct. And was that your 18th birthday? Yes. Now, what, if any, understanding did you have about what the defendant was doing in Orlando at the time? I understood that he was making music there. Recording music? Yes. And before your trip, what, if anything, did the defendant tell you about coming to see him? Nothing. Just to calm down, we would have a good time. And how long was the trip supposed to last? Sorry, y'all. And how long was the trip supposed to last? It was just for a long weekend. And you mentioned your friend Catherine. Did she go with you on the trip? She did. And did the two of you travel from Chicago to Orlando? Yes. Who, if anyone, who made your travel arrangements? One of Mr. Kelly's employees did. And was that for both you and Catherine? Yes. And who paid for your travel? Mr. Kelly did. For you and Catherine? That's correct. And had you ever been to Orlando before? I had been once when I was around 9 years old. Did you know your way around Orlando? Not at all. After you and Catherine flew to Orlando and landed at the airport, what happened? We were picked up and brought to a home that was furnished, but No one seemed to live there. It seemed to be like what an Airbnb would be now. Fair to say Airbnb didn't exist back then. Yes. And was it like a rental property? It seemed that way. And do you recall anything about where the house was situated? I remember it being in a cul-de-sac. What happened after you and Catherine got to the house? Nothing. We were there for a while. We were there for a long time, for a few days, and we were not contacted by him. I started to think maybe that he had forgotten that I was even there. We just sat in the house alone. Did you leave the house at all? No. Why not? We weren't allowed to. We didn't have a car. We didn't have anyone to take us anywhere or do anything. Now, did there come a point when you saw the defendant on that trip to Orlando? Yes. On the last day that I was there, towards the end of the day, he showed up. And what happened when the defendant showed up? He picked me up in a sports car and we drove to the studio that he was recording at. And when you say we, who are you referring to? He and I. The defendant and you. Yes. And was there anyone else in the car? Not that I recall. Do you recall whether your friend Catherine went to the studio as well? I don't remember. Now, what happened when you got to the studio in Orlando? Mr. Kelly told me that he wanted to record me giving him oral sex there at the studio. And what happened next? And so I did. He had a different video camera that day, and I performed oral sex on him while he held the camera. And how is this video camera different from the one at the house in Lincoln Park? It was more of a handheld camera, a smaller one. And how was he holding it during this encounter? He just held it out like that, indicating facing us. And what part of your bodies was it facing? My profile. Was it, I mean, the top of your body, bottom, middle? My face, because I was performing oral sex on him. So my face and possibly my breast. And where was your face at the time? In his lap. And was his penis in your mouth? Yes. How did that make you feel? Just humiliated. Did you want to be recorded that day? No, I didn't. Do you recall whether you saw any of the other defendants' employees or associates on your trip to Orlando? I feel like I did see Blackie there, but I can't be specific as far as where I saw him. After that encounter, where the defendant filmed you giving him oral sex, did you see the defendant again on that trip? Just afterwards, he drove me back to the house and I was crying in the car. And I remember him not really knowing how to deal with that. And that was the end of that trip. Did you and Catherine return to Chicago from Orlando? We did. And upon your return to Chicago, how were you feeling about your time with the defendant? I didn't want to be seeing him anymore. I felt used and humiliated and degraded, and I just didn't want to be abused anymore. Did you see the defendant again after your return to Chicago? I did. I saw him at least once or twice after that. And why did you see him again after you returned to Chicago? Well, he had these sex tapes of me, and I wanted to stay in good standings with him because I wanted to see if I could get those from him. And did you discuss that with him? Yeah, I remember calling him and asking him if I could meet with him and get the videotapes or even just destroy them together. And he gave me hope that we could. So he said something like, yeah, we might be able to do that. Why don't you come down to the studio? And at that point, I knew that he didn't have any intentions of destroying the tapes, that I would never see them again. And that was the last time that I spoke to him. Did you ever get the tapes from the defendant? No, I didn't. Did you ever see him destroy the tapes? No, I didn't. Since the last time you spoke to him and discussed those tapes, have you spoken to the defendant since then? No. Have you seen the defendant since then, other than here today in court? No. And in relation to that trip to Orlando, approximately when was your last communication with the defendant? I would say either November or December of 1999. And you went to Orlando around your birthday, is that right? Yes. And when was that again? Mid-October? One moment, Your Honor. Last page, you guys. Nothing further, Your Honor. The judge. Okay. Cross-examination. Mr. Farnell. Your Honor, Ms. Becker is going to take the cross-examination. Mr. Koenig. Your Honor, is it possible to get 3 to 5 minutes? The judge. Well, it would never be 3 to 5 minutes, but I will hold you to the 5 minutes. We'll take a 5-minute break, Mr. Koenig. Thank you, the judge. And expect the lawyers to be back in the courtroom in 5 minutes. So, all right. Thanks so much, folks. Don't talk about the case. The courtroom deputy. All rise. Jury exits. The judge. Okay. I am not leaving, so I want to start in 5 minutes. The witness can step down. I won't listen to your conversation, but I am staying here. Mr. Koenig. It will be fine, Judge. The judge. All right. Witness steps down and exits the courtroom. Recess taken. All right, you guys, we're going to stop right there, and we're going to continue this evening on page 1661. Somebody mark it. We will continue on page 1661 on tonight. Well, actually, let me just go ahead and write that down. Okay, 1661. We stopped at 1660, okay? All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get into a brief discussion in regards to these transcripts. Oh, my goodness. What have we found out here? Okay, so this is Stephanie, okay? She initially was not into RKelly whatsoever. She was trying to get her friend on, Catherine, trying to get her audition. Well, she got that audition. And come to find out, RKelly was like, she ain't got it. She's trash, but I will smash you. I'm into you, allegedly, okay? The thing is that as time went on, she developed a relationship with RKelly. And we hear all the humiliation and things of that nature. And you hear how all of these things that she went through, she stayed going back to RKelly. Now, the thing is that they actually have a, as we read on in these transcripts, we're going to hear that they actually had a psychologist that will talk about the trauma bonding and, going through these things. And then you also hear her say that the reason why she kind of stayed there was like these videos, and that's kind of interesting to say the least, that she was trying to just hang out in there and maybe try to convince him of destroying the daggone videos, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually when she noticed that wasn't happening, she chunked up the deuces. So it kind of makes you think about if that was the case for a lot of the other young ladies. They've been exposed to herpes. And then, what I'm saying, they've been humiliated. They've been through all these things. So maybe they were thinking that I'm tainted. I can't go back my realization, let me just thug this mug out. Maybe it's not as bad as it's being, you know. And that shows you right there the level of intense trauma that they went through, that they're left in homes, they're left in like places, it's okay baby, they're left in like places that, you know, he was nowhere near in sight and they would not budge. You know what I'm saying? That shows you the level of traumatic experience that they had in their head, to where they did not want to get this man riled up. You know what I'm saying? And to hear, like she said, him get all crazy like that, cuss her out and stuff like that, and broad daylight around, you know, everybody. It's just interesting to say the least. But now it's your turn, you guys. Like the scroll at the bottom, tell me what you guys think about these particular transcripts. I mean, what do y'all have to say in regards to it? This is your time. Comment down below in the comments and let me know what you guys think in regards to what you've heard thus far about these transcripts. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, was this a pivotal witness, or was she just another one of the witness? What about her testimony stood out for you? Okay, not for nothing, you guys. Again, that is the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like the video so we can get the algorithm moving. And if you don't like the video, please click that dislike. It's beneficial either way. Okay, when you don't pick one, that is not. All right, so click like if you like it. If you don't, dislike. Okay, you got two choices. All right, not for nothing, make sure you share this video. Sharing is caring. All you have to do is click that share button down below, and you can share it to any one of your connected platforms or social media. Okay, please, if you would like to join the channel, if you see something in this channel that you like, go ahead and join and become a authentic member and support my channel on a monthly basis. Okay, not for nothing, I love you guys. It's a super chat, but know that 30% goes to YouTube. This is their platform, rightfully so, right? They got to get their coin too. Okay, not for nothing, if you want to give 100% proceeds to myself, this is my cash out. Make sure you use that money sign and then Whitney D 2014. Make sure that you indicate if it's a love offering or if it goes to transcripts. If it does not indicate that it goes to transcripts, I'm just going to think that it's a love offering, and I appreciate it. Okay, appreciate it. All right. Not for nothing, you guys. If you have any more information pertaining to this trial, or you just want to give me a love email, or you want to just tell me, you know, hey, can I get some advice about this? Send it to reviews@whitneyD@gmail.com. I promise you, if I'm interested, I will respond. Okay, trying to embark on this YouTube journey and you need help, don't know where to start? Well, I am your girl. Okay, I will get you up and running on YouTube, or any kind of business need that you may need, be it website, logo, or what have you. I'm your girl. Just check me out at whitneydavisplanning.com, or you can send me an email at whitneydavisplanning@gmail.com. Okay, not for nothing, guys, that is the video. Again, I thank you guys so very much for tuning in. You guys could be anywhere else in the world and you decided to stick it out with me, and I'm grateful about that. Okay, love you guys so very much. Until next time, which is tonight. Okay, 7:30 CST. Okay, be there or be square. Okay, now if you ever are concerned about not getting notifications, make sure that you click your notification bell, move it from personalized to all, as well as check out my community tab. I always make sure that I place the videos there just for, you know, purposes, just in notification reasons. Okay, so you guys can be abreast to everything. Make sure you check that, my social medias as well. Okay, not for nothing, you guys, that is it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you tonight. Bye.